up, everybody? Welcome back to Big Things Kentucky. You know, football is our love, so we decided we're going to do a little special thing. We're going to have Big Things Kentucky Sunday conversation.
Yeah. All right, Coach. As you know, people consider Kentucky a basketball state, Coach, but where we see football reign supreme here. It's good to sit down with coaches in the city, in the Rada area. Our next coach up is Coach Mcpeek, head coach of Fredrick Douglass. Coach, man, great year last year dealing with COVID, being a new coach, having a new quarterback, having to switch games around, going to Louisville to play on a Saturday. Coach, you faced the whole game, being the best team in 5A and having to be on the road the whole playoff. Coach, I ain't gonna lie, Coach, they did you wrong this year. They did you wrong.
Well, you know, since day one, first off, thanks for having me. But you know, from day one, we've, you know, always found answers and not made excuses. You know, our facility wasn't done in 2017, and we had to go to Crawford Middle School, and Mr. Jones was really nice and letting us use that over there. And I remember watching film up under the awning up there for really the first month and a half of our existence. Obviously, we had a lot of adversity, more so than even some other teams during this pandemic, during football. And you know, our kids did a great job. You know, I look back at some of the things that we had to deal with, not playing a game for 30 days right in the middle of September, October. And really it was more like 40 days because we only played one quarter against Montgomery County. So really we went almost 40 some days without playing a full football game. That's crazy to think about, but I was happy our seniors got a chance to play the season. I was happy that our kids had an opportunity to play, obviously, and move forward. And I appreciate the KHSA, Mr. Tackett, for their leadership and what they did for us, and our coaching association pushing the envelope with Mr. Buchanan, Coach Buchanan. So it was a great opportunity for us. It didn't end like we wanted it to. Didn't play very well in the first half, but really after that, I thought we dominated the football game in many aspects. We just got down, you know, anytime you get down 21-0, it's hard to come back from. Our kids did. We just didn't make a couple plays during that time to be able to win it.
Now, Coach, man, you know, I'm just wondering, because it felt like it for me. At the end of the season, was it kind of like a relief, you know, like you had just been running a marathon?
But it felt like 3 years for me as the head football coach. Because, you know, it just the feeling that you have in your stomach and in your mind when you get phone calls from numbers you don't recognize, and just you never know when you pick up that phone what the news is going to be. And it was that way every single day for 5 months, from June till December. You know, we were fortunate in the fact that we only had 2 positive cases really from June to December 12th, which to me is remarkable. That our families and our kids did a great job during this deal, and our coaches, you know, and I thought our kids handled everything really well, but there's a long list of things, adversity wise, that I could sit there and list for everybody. Obviously you guys are aware of a lot of them in the public, but you know, there was a lot of positives through this year as well, that we got to be with our kids and teach them about adversity. And all of our young men will be better people and players that are coming back in 2021 because of what we went through this year.
Now, Coach, man, you speak about the kids and everything you went through. Coach, let me ask you a question. Now, you've had a privilege of coaching some very talented young men over these last few years. You personally having the chance to have probably 2 of the biggest recruits ever to come through the state of Kentucky, and Jagger Burton and DeKel Crowder. Then you had, of course, you had young men like Mario Warner, who've been with you forever and has been productive, and Darius Neal. How is it coaching kids with that much talent? And then, of course, this year you blessed with 2 more kids that probably be highly recruited, and Ty Bryant and Dane Key. How is it managing managing their talent?
Yeah, it's not a bad thing at all. You know, I enjoy helping young men, as you know, like most coaches do, but I kind of enjoy the recruiting aspect. Some high school coaches don't. I do. I enjoy, you know, the recruiting process. I enjoy the analysis of sending film out. Obviously, I'm very lucky to have those type of players, like any coach would be. It makes you a better coach when you have good players. Yeah, the thing about all those guys is they're great people. You know, there's a reason they've gotten to where they've gotten, and that's from hard work. They all have great families. You know, I'm just a small piece of that. But I enjoy being around those guys. I mean, you know, this is going into year 18 for me. And, you know, a guy like Jagger Burton, he's just so competitive, you know, and Dane Key is one of the most competitive kids I've ever been around. He doesn't like to take any reps off in practice. He wants to be on every special team, and he is. I mean, he long snaps for us. He's a returner. He's our, you know, he does stuff on punt team. He, you know, it goes on, and all our kids are that way. I think it's just a culture that we have in our program. It's something we got to continue to build and continue to have. We have a great foundation. One of these days, hopefully we'll get over the hump and win a title, but I don't think that can be our ultimate goal every year. I think that's what we want to do every year, obviously, and that's what everybody wants us to do, and I want to do that. But just the momentum and the foundation that we have in our program is really second to none. And I know some people get tired of hearing it, but I really think it starts there. You know, our kids enjoy the process. They enjoy that foundational piece.
Now, Coach, looking on to next year, you know, we came up short. It hurt us. You know, we ain't going to talk about all that. But looking on next year, first of all, let's get this whole schedule thing straight. You know, a lot of people talk about our schedule and we don't play and blah, blah, blah. Set the record straight so everybody understands what's going on.
Yeah, well, you know, this year with COVID, it was a little different in the fact that Fayette County did not make every school play each other. So it was kind of, you know, for us, like I said, it was difficult schedule-wise with all the things that went into that. For 2021 and 2022, we do 2-year contracts. The KHSA did not move us classifications for the next 2 years. So we're going to stay 5A with, you know, the current district that we're in. So obviously we have to play those teams. And then, you know, Fayette County wants to go back to playing all the public high schools. So that'll be 5 of our games. So you have 5 games there with the other high schools in Fayette County. We have 4 district opponents. So that's 9 games. And then we picked up Boyle County for the last game. So it took a while. I'm actually still looking for a scrimmage for our first August date. There's not a whole lot of people that answer my emails with scheduling.
You know, I do know, looking forward to next year, Lexington seems to have, you know, looks like we're gaining ground and we're improving. I know next year you're going to have, you know, we'll get a chance to reclaim our city championship as we take on Bryan Station, who is drastically improved. You've got Dunbar, who has improved quite a bit. How are you looking forward to playing back into the city?
Yeah, first off, we're not going to talk about those sweatshirts you made. So I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, I do.
Coach Hawkins is a really good football coach. You know, we have a good relationship. And, you know, he's doing a really good job. He's continuing adding to his staff. You know, and that's going to be a really good challenge for us in week 1. And you know, like we tell our kids all the time, you know, we're going to get everybody's best shot. You know, because, you know, they want to be the first team to be able to do it. And, you know, at some point that's going to happen. You know, I mean, I feel like we're a great program, but other programs are getting better. And I think that, you know, for us, speaking for me, I want teams that we play in the city to be good because it helps our RPI. But the way the RPI is set up now, it doesn't help us, you know, to beat an opponent and they go 1-8 or 1-9. That doesn't help our RPI at all. So I want teams, you know, you mentioned Dunbar and Station and then all the rest of the city teams that we play. I want them to win as many games as they can after our game. Hopefully we win. And that's the expectation. But the RPI has changed the game. I mean, RPI is big, you know, because as you saw this year, you know, it would have been a factor if we got to play at home a little bit more. You know, so it is what it is, but it's really important. And really, like for me, scheduling wise, you know, that's the biggest piece for me is the RPI. So we want teams to do well, and the city's going to be much improved, I think.
And Coach, also speaking about next year, of course, you got a few kids that are also under the radar. Other than the kids we named earlier, you got a kid like TJ Horton, who's had a lot of success in middle school. kind of playing his part to his time. And then, of course, you got Cameron Dunn, another standout young man. What can you tell us about that? But who else should we be on the lookout for?
Yeah, I mean, TJ had a great year at corner this year for us. We moved him. He hadn't really been a huge defensive player through his middle school year and his freshman year, but he's a great athlete. And we were just trying to find him a place on the field because he is one of our top athletes on our team. And he embraced that role. He's a fine young man, and really look forward to, his junior year, obviously continuing getting him involved in the return game as an athlete. Maybe offensively a little bit, even though we are fairly deep at the skill position again offensively. But yeah, I mean, Cameron had a really good year this year. He's very productive. Look forward to a great senior year for him. He's an outstanding athlete, obviously can play multiple spots offensively and also on special teams. So, and I know he's working really hard and getting ready to go to baseball like some of our other kids. So, that we have a lot of returning guys. I feel really good about us at every spot except offensive line, which is where obviously I coach. We graduated 4 really good players there from a year ago. We have 2 guys returning that play quite a bit. That's it. So that's really our biggest hit area versus the last couple of years. We've had really good offensive lines the first 3 years, really. That first year was kind of a fitting piece for me. Defensively, we have like 9 guys back that played a lot. So I think we're going to be even better defensively than we were this year. And settling in with Coach Poe as the defensive coordinator. So looking forward to that as well.
Now, Coach, Sam Cornette, we watched him mature and grow as the season went on. And, of course, like you said, you didn't really have as much time. He didn't really have much time. You just kind of threw him out there. So what are your goals? I know KHSA has scheduled some springtime for you guys. Yeah. Hopefully we get to do that. What are some goals about, getting him and Dane Key and incorporating all of that so that we can go on to the next level, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, Sam did a really good job for us this year. I mean, I'm sure he'd be the first to tell you in those big moments, in those big games, that's something that he's got to improve upon. But to do what he did during this year, coming in new, really only had 3 weeks of camp. One of those weeks was kind of conditioning. And then going right in playing North Hardin, he did an outstanding job all year. I mean, he had, I think, 26 touchdowns, threw for multiple touchdowns in games. Had a really good connection with our guys. Obviously Dane's always willing to work. I know Dane's getting ready to go into baseball season as well. He's a really good baseball player. So, I'm sure those guys will get to work when they can. They have been doing it on the side, I'm sure. We just can't train with them right now. But hopefully, we can get this vaccine rolling and get more and more teachers going in the right direction, and we can get back to school and get back training with our guys sometime soon, because obviously our expectations are very high. Samuel needs to go to work on his body, and he's continued to do that. He's currently training, so he's got to continue to get bigger, faster, stronger, and he has since he's been at Douglass. But he has the talent to be a Power 5 quarterback. But I know that's his ultimate goal, to try to play at the highest place he can, and it's our job to try to get him there.
How was it replacing Coach Landis, and do you feel like it was extra pressure to continue the success that you all had the first couple of years he was there?
I get asked a lot. I just honestly, with COVID hitting, I'm a pretty organized person. That's kind of been my deal, even as the offensive coordinator, that for Coach Landis, I took care of some of those type things. But, this year you really had to be organized, and it kind of hit when at a time where you had to be really organized. And I'm sure all coaches would tell you that. But, Coach Landis is one of the best football coaches I've ever been around. He's obviously back into college and doing a great job at Georgia State. But as far as pressure goes, I don't really put any more pressure on anything other than myself. I have a pretty high standard for myself as a player and a coach. And, I want to do the best I can for kids. We still live our core values. That's important to us, and our foundation is not going to change under me. It didn't this year with COVID, and it's not going to moving forward. Obviously, I'm a different personality guy, and what I bring to the table is a little bit different, but, we're not going to, our non-negotiables are still going to be there in our program.
All right, Coach, man, you being a big Marshall fan, I know you played. Byron Leftwich was your quarterback when you played. Now he's the offense coordinator going to the Super Bowl, Coach. I know you're proud about that. I see your post, man. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for him. I remember back when we don't talk as much just because he's busy, I'm busy. But I remember back when he first retired from the NFL, we were talking back and forth, and I was in high school coaching obviously at that time, and I said, man, you should try to get into it. And he was kind of he didn't know if he wanted to do it or not, and he was kind of struggling with what he wanted to do after retirement. And I remember him making that decision on he got with Coach Arians with Arizona Cardinals out there, and kind of did an analyst job and was just kind of getting into it a little bit. And then it's flourished into what he is today. And I think he'll be an NFL head coach. He is the smartest football player I've ever been around. He understood anything that you could think of, and that's why he's an NFL offensive coordinator. And I've got plenty of ideas from him, both schematically and philosophy-wise, that we bring it in the Douglass offensive program. Obviously it's altered to what we can do and what our kids can handle, but I'm really happy for him. And obviously I'm going to root for the Bucs in the game.
Coach, real quick, to go back to kind of put another second part to a question Coach Trucker asked you earlier. We know you're big on social media. Do you feel like the way you spotlight your kids in your program, not only does it benefit your kids, but do you feel like it benefits the kids in our area, the Lexington area as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, whenever I retire or, whatever I do down the road, I want Lexington football to be better. I want our program to be in good standing. I want it to be in a great foundation, whether I'm the coach there for 20 more years, 30 more years, 3 more years, whatever it is. We never know in this profession, but I want Lexington football to be good. I feel like there's a lot of talent around here. I feel like there's a lot of kids that get unnoticed in a lot of areas, just my opinion. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. I think obviously it starts with the youth leagues, and I know you guys are involved with that in a lot of ways as well. I think it starts there, and just the passion that you need to play this game. Football is a numbers game, and, it's very popular in the United States right now, and we got to continue on that momentum. We got to continue with the middle schools and getting in there. Obviously, Fayette County is a little different than a county school in the fact that all of the kids go different places. And then you also have 2 private schools that you can go to here in Lexington. Social media has turned in a lot to recruiting. A lot of college coaches use Twitter that way. They would assume DM you, then sometimes text you or call you in a lot of ways. That's how a lot of film is exchanged, more so than even contact and social media. I tell our kids all the time, like with Twitter, for example, they may not be as interactive with it as like Instagram and stuff like that, but you need to have one, and it needs to be professional. Because if you're recruiting NAIA all the way up to LSU and Alabama, they're going to check your social media and make sure you're doing things right.
All right, man, as you can see, my coach, we ready, baby. We getting ready for next year. We going all the way. We all in, baby. Douglass football. We winning, we riding. Coach, man, great conversation with Coach Mcpeek. If you got any suggestions for who you want to see or hear from next, send us a message and let us know. And we'll keep our Sunday conversations going because we can never get too much football.
Coach, man, great interview. Glad we did this. Hey, man, as always, has to be a living donor. I'm Coach Bew. My man, Coach TB on the side of Coach Truck.